This is Lee with 82 Gaming 12, and we've got video 5 of the day was ours. The first bull run, July the 21st, 1861. This is volume 6 in the Blind Swords American Civil War series. Designer Matt Ward, developer Daniel Roulet, Roger Miller, art Rick Barber, Charles Keebler, and Mark Mahaffey. Rules and charts Richard Hanworth. Revolution Games came out in 2021. And the Blind Sword Systems designer is Herman Lutman. And so we've got the information here for Revolution Games, Sacramento, California. So you can check those out. I've let's see, I've got I think all but maybe 2 of the well, maybe 3 of the Blind Sword Systems. I don't have the Perryville Battle yet, or South Mountain. I don't have either one of those. I think let's see, a South Mountain, is it even available yet? It still might be in production. I don't remember. But I had the original back in 2016 when Stonewall Sword came out. And I know I played it, but I don't know, I guess I might have been focused on something else at the time, but I got rid of it for some reason. I don't understand why. You know, what happens is over time, as a gamer, as a grown-ard, I guess, I've been doing this since the 70s, playing these board games. You just, your, I guess, flavor of games that you like or enjoy changes somewhat. Sometimes you want more technical or more tactical, more chrome. Other times you want less. You want maybe something more operational from a further distance out, maybe. And sometimes it's, I don't know, you're just like your taste buds change. You kind of change for different things. And there for a while, I was just not interested in Civil War games, I guess. I was more focused on, for a while, was Pacific carrier games, World War II carrier battle games, and I've always had a fondness for Napoleonic. A lot of interest in the Peninsular War, and there's just that there hasn't been until, I guess, in the last few years, or well, I'd say maybe the last 10 years, maybe, more games coming out over the Peninsula War during the Napoleonic Wars. The battles in Spain and Portugal. So, and I know there's more coming out. So on that, but okay, getting back to Revolution Games and the day was ours. So we've got our sponsors. Let's pull in and take a look at them. We've got Crossman. They produce pellet guns, pellets, air rifles used for hunting or plinking. Yeah, don't know what plinking is. Well, it's just target practice, shooting at things, not really for killing animals, but or hunting. Say killing animals, hunting, but just for fun. And it's a cheap, inexpensive way to, you know, improve your marksmanship and just to have fun, you know. So check them out, crossman.com. I have a link there under all of these videos in the information for that. Then we have Mertu. They are excellent craftsmen of men's and women's jewelry. I'm always, I guess, not really looking at the women's jewelry there. I don't wear rings or necklaces. I do like to wear a bracelet, something on my wrist, I guess. You know, people just, they don't wear watches that much anymore. So, I guess maybe that's my thing, is just to have something on my wrist. But it's for fashion, and they're made out of quality leather and metals, nice beads, come in different colors, different styles, and these are two that I've had for a number of years. So if you know, you're interested in that, I'd suggest you check them out. I don't have an actual link that's connected with YouTube, but I do provide you with the web address, so mertu.com, and so I suggest you go and take a look at both those sponsors. All right, now getting to the battle itself. I want to plug a couple of books here. These are not sponsors. These are just books that I enjoy, that I have, I've read, or I'm reading now. William C. Davis. This came out 77. Doubleday Books. Battle at Bull Run. Lots of good information here about the campaign, also about the battle itself. I'm going to be sharing some things I've just recently read about that as we go along here. A couple other books just to mention. We've got my favorite book over Stonewall Jackson is Rebel Yell. And Stonewall Jackson, I guess, is kind of given credit for the Rebel Yell, instructing his troops to charge the enemy and to scream and holler as they charge. So, and that's used during this battle, Battle of Bull Run. A lot of first for this battle. You have the use of railroads for transportation of troops. Jackson's troops were transported. The Shenandoah Valley Army was transported by rail line to the battle. You also have the wigwam signaling, the flags. It's flags. Excuse me. The Rebel Yell. Let's see. And of course, you have some generals of brigade getting wounded and killed, so forth. Colonels getting killed during this battle. Officers were in the forefront, and injuries, so forth, sustained. So S.C. Gwynn wrote Rebel Yell. It was a New York Times bestseller back in 2014. And Scribner Press, you need to check that out. And then we have Stonewall Jackson as a Military Commander by John Selby. That's a Barnes & Noble's publisher. Check them out. And then we have Stonewall in the Valley. And I'm a big fan of Stonewall. Of course, his Valley campaign is legendary. And that, let's see, is a Stackpole Books publisher. Robert G. Tanner is the author. He originally published this, had it published back in, I think, 76, yes. 76 by Doubleday. And then 20 years later, he republished with changes. He made some revisions and expanded on on the book due to new firsthand information from diaries and letters and so forth of people that were involved in the campaign, and that was then published by Stackpole Books. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. So I suggest if you're interested in Valley Campaign, there's quite a few of those books. But this is an excellent book. I suggest you check it out. Now, let's talk about what we got here. It's a 1:30 p.m. turn. The Union will draw 3 random chips, which means they get 4 total chips now, compared to the Confederates only 3. We no longer have the regulars forward, which was the I think they might be, let's see. Oh yes, the United States Infantry Battalion. They were given an extra activation through that chip. That was used 3 times, can no longer be used. So, and reinforcement coming in. Over there is Bonham. This is Bonham's brigade coming in. Let me make sure I got them in the right. Got to be, yeah, 4035 is where they're coming in. LZ will be coming in at 2 o'clock. Early at 2:30. So there we go. Now, I had, or I saw on Board Game Geek, someone was asking about Shank's brigade and questioning about why they didn't do anything. They were just kind of stuck over there on the protecting the stone bridge. Well, that's historically that's what they did. They weren't involved in the fighting. They were there just around the stone bridge and basically protecting the line of communication and retreat back to Washington. So they're not really that much involved. They were, when the battle first, well, before the battle started, they were the lead units up the Warrenton Pike. The Union were they tried to get started like at 2 o'clock a.m. in the morning of the 21st. But it's so dark, you know, the Union soldiers stumbled around and ran into fences and posts, and they said it was so dark they could barely see their hand in front of their face. So, you know, they kind of got exhausted stumbling around in the dark. Plus, it slowed down Burnside and Porter trying to get around the left flank of the Confederacy. That was McDowell's plan, was to send them around. So Hunter, if I could find him, yeah, Hunter's division, Burnside and Porter were, plus they were going through a wooded area. The trails were narrow and not well trodden. But they were in line behind Shank and Sherman and Keyes So basically, they had to have Keys get off the road eventually, and Shank to get off the road so that Hunter's forces could move on and try to get around and get to the Sutley road so that they could come down Manassas Sutley road to get to the flank. They didn't know about some of the other fords. Sherman, William Tecumseh Sherman, of course, located a ford that is the discovered ford right here, the Farm Ford. Actually, he had discovered, I think that he discovered that around like 7:30, viewing some Confederate scouts that waited their horses across across Bull Run right there, and he figured, well, if they can wade their horses across, then my soldiers can wade across on foot. So that some things I've read from William C. Davis's book. And of course, Hunter gets wounded early on and gets replaced by Burnside. Burnside actually takes over the division. And I believe Burnside gets a horse shot out from under him. Beauregard has a Federal shell explode under his horse that just rips the animal wide open. Bowels just come pouring out. Jackson has his left hand raised during the fight, and a bullet passes between, I guess, two of his fingers. I guess his middle finger, maybe his index finger and his middle finger. And I think it breaks or dislocates his joint there between the knuckle and the tip of his finger. And he ends up wrapping a kerchief around his hand, and just continues on. In Bowdoin, these are just some things happened during the battle. In Bowdoin, he's actually firing, having his guns fired. He's a little too forward, and the blast sends him flying, ruptures his left, I think it's his left eardrum, and he's not able to hear out of that, I guess, the rest of his life. So he's deaf on his left side. I'm aware of the concussion from cannons. I was at Ford here in Texas. It'll maybe come to me later on. They have this, I don't know if you call it Pioneer Days, but they have these special events where they have people there that are reenacting how you lived and did different things, and they fire off these cannons, and the concussion, man, it's strong. They can blow you backward. Well, and Bowdoin is just knocked from his feet and sent flying. And basically, Jackson allows him to retire when I think it's when Squires and maybe Pelham, I think, arrive on the scene during the battle. And so he's basically out of the battle after that. But that's just something about that. But you have many colonels being killed. You have let's see, some Louisianans, Welch's. Is it Welch's? Welch's Tigers. See if I can find them. I don't see them yet. Maybe they've already, let's see, not over here. Oh, yeah. Part of Evans' group. is it Welch's? I think it's Welch's Tigers. Welch is shot. I'll make sure. I'm pretty sure it's Welch's. He is shot like in one armpit and goes all the way through to the other armpit. I think it like perforates along. And when he's taken back to the surgeons, they tell him, well, you've got a mortal wound. We don't have record of anyone surviving that wound. And so he just tells them, well, you know what? I don't intend to die today. So take note and put it in record that I'm the first to survive such a wound. And he does. I'll be sure I got his name right. Let's see here. I'm looking in the back of the book here. You know, Wheat, not Welch. Major Rubidoux Wheat. I'll apologize, Mr. Wheat. Wheat's Tigers. They become known as Louisiana Tigers. Louisiana Tigers instead of their regiment. It becomes known as the Louisiana Tigers. But he's wounded, taken to the rear to the field hospital, and they tell him, well, you've got a wound that people die from, but you're not going to survive. And he says, no, I'm not dying today. So we've got lots of different things of that nature occur. Another thing is you've got the rule about friendly firing on friends. That occurred multiple times. Part of Jackson's, I think it's, yeah, the 33rd Virginians, they had come up with a plan that to help identify each other was to put their hand up to their forehead with the palm out, facing out, and saying Sumter, the word Sumter. And they did that to some forces that were approaching, and it was Federals, and the Federals did the same thing back. And the Virginians hollered out about friends, and the Federals hollered back, friends not, or something, and fired. So you had this because of the uniforms. There was no consistent uniform. You had Confederates in blue and gray. You had Union in blue and gray. Sherman's troops, when they got into the fight, they were concerned that Porter and Burnside might fire on them because they had some gray uniforms in their ranks. And so it was a confusing day, to say the least. All right. I know some of y'all are like, get on to the gaming. You want to, really find out some things about some of the different games you play. I enjoy learning more, getting new books, reading about other things, and so forth. Learning something more about the history and understanding about it. So, okay, now, something I want to be sure to remember to do is in the combats, the close combats, you're going to have some kind of roll on the combat cohesion test table, okay? You're not going to have just a nothing. You're not going to not roll on this table here somewhere, because a close fight is going to end up being anything that's like, if I flip this over, if you have any dash, okay, anywhere there's a dash, you're gonna end up with a close fight, which makes sense. I mean, you wouldn't have a close combat, you wouldn't have engagement without something happening, you know. So I have to remember that in firefight, you know, during fire, you may have a no result, but in close combat, you're at least going to have, you know, you may end up with, because of the roll, you know, with something here, but you're always going to have something going on here. If you notice, there is no dashes over here in the skedaddle result. So there's always going to be some result happen, whether it be the attack or defender. So we start the new turn to 130. And this is after the lull. So we have our setup draw cup. Something that kind of interests me is, why did they leave McDowell? There's no chit for McDowell. Maybe I need to send a message on Board Game Geek about that or something. Okay, so we have Hunter. He goes in. We got Tyler's replacement. That's been, that's really limited. Shank, Sherman, and Keys. They pretty much got nothing, did nothing last turn. We got Henselman. He comes in. The Confederates, you know, they've got Johnston and Beauregard. Beauregard really took command of the left flank around Henry Hill, and he sent Johnson. Johnson went back and, you know, was basically overall commander position, I guess, south of Henry Hill, where he could see the Stone Bridge and down toward where Cox's troops were at, you know, and so he could basically see the whole front. Now, if you look in there, we've got 3 Union chits and only 2 Confederate chits. Now, if you count overall, like, okay, if we were to count, okay, Hunter has 2. Tyler has 3, but really Shank, he's not involved in the fighting unless the Confederates go toward the Stone Bridge. So really, you only got 2 brigades there, so a total of 4. And then Henselman has 3. So you're looking at 7, okay. Johnson has got B, Bartow, and Jackson. Elsie comes in later, so right now that's 3. And then if we look here, Evans is really not even in the fight anymore. Bottom's coming in. Cox is here. So really you have Cox, Hampton's 1 unit, Stewart's 1 unit. So that's really got, well, you had, let's see, 3, 4, 5. So 7 to 5 brigades. I don't really count Hampton or Stewart. Bottom's coming in now, so that's kind of evening it up. So the Union, they've got the advantage. But it's soon going to turn because you've got the Confederates with their reinforcements. LZ, Bottom, LZ, and then Early. So we've got Evans has the 1st Louisiana's on the broken box 1, and available now is the 4th South Carolina A. So Evans will want to possibly do a rebuild. Okay, so now we do our chits. We got Fortunes of War, Fog of War get put in, and then we have the Confederate chits. They get 3. one picked, which I just do 3 randoms. That's what I do, since I'm playing solo. And the Union get a total of 4. Okay. So the first thing we have is going to be the artillery phase, and the Union get to activate the first artillery. Just checking things out here. Where do we want to start? Okay, we're going to start right here with Griffin. Griffin is going to fire onto Davidson. So we're going to have an artillery duel, I guess you might say. So that's a range of 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just going to be straight up 6. Straight up 6. 34. What's he got? Okay, so that's going to be a green. Routine. 22, nothing. Okay, so no effect. The Confederacy now will, let's see here. I'm going to be able to move that. And Bowden's going to have to possibly move. Let's see. I guess I'll just do, oops. I guess I'll just do Davidson. I'll just say right there. He shouldn't be turned. It should be like that. So Davidson is going to fire right there. Can he do that? Yeah. He's at a higher slope. So that slope in between. It'd be different if he was not on this higher slope. It would be different if, say, he was like here trying to fire there, but he's on a higher slope, so he can see over this slope down and see that guy. So he's at a 2. Range is 2, which is canister, so he goes to 3. And he is smoothbore, so he gets another bonus shift. So now he is at, let's see, 4. Canister, he goes, his strength becomes 150%. So goes from 2, add 1 is 3, and then his smoothbore canister is up to 4. So, okay, 4, 24, okay, no effect. So he wasn't able to, he shot past them or something, over their heads or something. Okay, next we've got, I think we'll go with Carlisle over there. Let's see if he's got somebody he can fire at. Yeah. Carlisle Okay. He is going to fire. Let's see what his range is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to fire at cock here. And he's on a higher level. But even if he was at the same level, there's nothing in between. So, Carlisle is going to fire at the 8th Virginians. 7, and he's mixed. 7 is still effective, so he gets his full 6. 21, don't think it's gonna, no, he's not effective. Low rolling. So let's go to someone else here. See, Bolden is just gonna move, trying to like, okay, let's take care of all the firing first. Let's go with Jackson. Jackson there. Line of sight. I got my see, I can hit Franklin. I can also fire here at Ricketts or Reynolds. I could try to knock one of them out. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he's smooth bore. 8's gonna put him over. It's gonna be up to long range. He'd be at half, it's gonna be at only 2. 5, 6. I think I'm gonna fire at this one. No, I'll tell you what, let's hit Franklin. Well, it's gonna be Franklin, but the first, I'm gonna fire at the first Minnesotians. Right there. So we close in just a little bit. So we can see. That's exactly 6, so that keeps them at their 4. And now we're rolling 1s. So, oh, wait a minute. I forgot. He is low ammo, so he would drop 2 columns to the left. So he still rolled a double 1, so that's going to be no effect. All right, let's stay here with Ricketts. And I'll tell you what, let's do Martin. We want to do Martin right here. Okay, so Martin, the 71st New York, he's going to fire at B, 4th Alabama's, right there. So he is at canister range. So he goes from a 2 to a 3, and then he gets the bonus of a shift during canister because he's smooth bore. So he's a 4. Okay, rolled a 4 with a 34. Nope, no effect. So far, artillery has not been effective. All right, we move back to the Confederates. I think, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, Rogers can fire. Let's see. But the thing is, oops, dadgummit. Rogers is going to move up. I got Latham right here. I need to do Latham. Yeah, let's do Latham. Okay. So Latham is going to hit. He's going to fire at the first Connecticutans. What is their? Well, how would you say that? First Connecticut? The first Connecticut, I guess. So that's going to be a range of 1, 2, 3. So he's just going to be a 2. 245. He'd have to have a 2, which he does. So we're firing at the routine. Yeah. Okay. So we got a 15. Let's see, a 1-5. So he's got to retreat 2. Okay. So now I can put him back. And he's already gone. All right, so now let's go back over here to, okay, well, let's go with Arnold. Let's see what Arnold's got. I think Arnold needs to move up somewhere. Yeah. Okay, angled slope is +1, but they can't fire out of it. So where do we want to go here? I think we're going to come right up here where Martin's at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is where they stop. Okay. Well, let's see. I could have probably come up right there. Yeah. I'm going to come up there. Okay. So we were here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he could move right there, 7, 8. No, he can't. Cost 2. So he stops right there. Okay. Now we go back to, let's go back over here to Rogers. Rogers can't rebuild. He's got to be with someone. So I'm going to move him. He's going to move right here with this Cox. Up there like that. Okay. Then we have Ricketts down here and Reynolds. Looking for an opportunity to punish Jackson's units. Okay, so Ricketts gonna fire on the 33rd Virginians. Range 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's gonna be just straight up 6. Oh, he rolled a 16. That's not gonna give any kind of results. Okay. Then we're gonna have, let's see here. In Bowden, I guess I'm gonna move him. He needs to move with someone. He's going to fall back to the crossroads right here. This is where he's going to fall back to. Okay. Then we go here. Reynolds. He's going to fire on the same target. No, I tell you what. They're going to fire at Stewart. Cavalry, they get a column shift. 2 column shift. So he's at range 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to be all the way to a 10. Oh, 26. 26. Stewart's got a what, a 3? All right, he's going to be a routine. Routine. All right, I rolled a 1 and a 5. It's going to force Stewart to retreat too. Stewart's going to go back to there. Okay, so Reynolds is done. Now we're looking at, let's see, I think Pelham and Squires are who I've got left. Yeah. So, I'm gonna move Squires. He's gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, where's he at? Right here? Right there? 4. Yeah. Still can't get there. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, he's gonna have to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He goes to there. This guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, he can end up there with Evans. I moved both of them because the Union doesn't have anything left. So there we are. And I couldn't do any rebuilding because I didn't have any artillery that they got to be beside either cavalry or infantry to be able to rebuild. So okay, they're not able to stack with cavalry. The only cavalry unit is Stewart. And he actually performed a charge. And that was against the Zouaves. I believe it was the Zouaves. Yeah, charged into the Zouaves during the battle. Sliced a bunch of them up. But at the same time, the Zouaves were able to shish kebab many of the riders with their bayonets. But we had a cavalry charge during the Battle of Bull Run, an old Napoleonic cattle charge. I don't think, yeah, you flip them over, they're not dismounted. So Stewart's cavalry can't dismount. They're just, but we do have the charge that possibly we can get in. So now we are going to the draw cup. And the first chip that is pulled is Superior Artillery, which is a new chit. Superior Artillery. Play now or at the start of any chit draw phase. You select any one hex containing Union artillery. Each of those units may immediately do one of the following: conduct an artillery step, remove a shaken, disrupted, or low ammo marker, So, do we want to do something now, or do we want to do it later? Because I can hold it and do it later. I think I want to hold it. So we're going to hold it. All right, Fortunes of War. Next one coming out is going to be ignored. Okay, what do we got? Command Confusion. That chit is ignored. All right, we got Hunter. So Hunter has a 4. I rolled a 5, so that means somebody is only going to get limited activation. I think it's going to be Burnside. Yeah. I guess. He's only got 1 unit that can fire. Porter'd be in the same boat, but I've got that 1 unit back here that I don't want to. I want to try to rescue. So I guess we're going to go with Burnside. All it can do is fire. So let's turn Burnside over up there at the top. And so we're going to focus down here on Burnside up against Jackson's 4th Virginians, the 1st Rhode Island unit. Right here. And he's firing at the 4th Virginians. So, and it's, when you have that limited, you don't get to attack. Close combat is just only limited activation. That means the unit in the brigade, units in the brigade may only conduct a normal fire combat, nothing else. So fire combat, we got 4. He's rifled, so he's not getting any bonus, so it's just 4. 53 under 4, he might get something here. He's got 3, so yeah, it's going to be routine. 35 routine. He's going to get him to retreat 2 hexes. So we'll retreat back to there. See what's here. So could go to there. I think I'll have him go there. All right, so that's all of Burnside. Historically, like I said, Burnside took over for Hunter, who got wounded. There was one officer that had his leg shattered. Trying to think who that was. I think it was a Confederate. Cannonball hit his leg while he was on a horse, and one of the soldiers wanted to stay with him. He kept telling him to leave, but it was obvious that the wound was mortal. Shattered his leg. Gruesome. Just imagine how gruesome some of these wounds, cannonballs, even during the Napoleonic age, but also these mini balls, devastating injuries. dealing with the rifles, Burnside had manufactured. He had designed a musket. You had the Springfield 1861. Probably a lot of the troops were armed with this, what would be the rifled 1861 Springfield. There was an 1855, but had been replaced by, I think, 1860, that the United States Army had replaced the 1855. So the Springfield, I believe it was a 58 caliber mini ball. And the Confederates had a lot of infield from Great Britain. They did a lot of trading with Great Britain, trading their cotton and other crops and so forth. And they had the infield musket. Now, the difference between the Springfield and the infield mainly was, okay, not only the size of the caliber was a 5.77 for the infield, but it could fire the 5.8 to 58. So that wasn't an issue. The issue was the infield was hand-made. So each individual rifle or musket was unique because it was like a cottage industry type thing, I guess, instead of a factory. While the Springfield was machine manufactured. So you could get it had easily replaceable parts. While with the infield, if something broke or stopped working, you had to have a gunsmith or someone that knew something about gunsmithing to basically hand build that part. So when a weapon malfunctioned or whatever, then you couldn't just replace the part easily. You know, the Union would have replacement parts, you know, that they could just, you know, take this off and put this on and it's ready to use. So I know it was, I think at Gettysburg, the Confederate officers were telling their men to pick up the Springfields, use the Springfields, and get rid of the infields because of that, for that one issue. You also had the Colt repeating pistol. Yeah, well, not pistol, repeating rifle. It had a cylinder like a revolver, but it had a issue with all of the chambers firing at one time because of leaking powder. And so all of the chambers would fire, and basically you'd almost blow your left hand off, you know. So because you're holding the stock, you know, as you're aiming, and so all of the other chambers would go off, and of course they're hitting your hand and your arm. So that was the issue with that Colt revolving rifle. And then you had the Sharps repeating rifle, which you see used a lot of times in movies. It was used in Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood. Morgan Freeman's character had the Spencer carbine. Carbine's just a shorter barrel. And of course it had the lever action. And it was not muzzle loading, but breech loading. Well, no, well, it was loaded through the stock. And the Henry rifle was also loaded through the stock. But see, I think both of those I don't think they were available during this battle. You're talking about mainly just muskets and revolvers, sabers, and so forth. Okay, so little sidetrack there. Oh, we got to put Hunter back in. All right, fog of war. And it's the Confederates that are rolling. So Rolled a 1, Union Battlefield Chaos. So we're going to have some Union Battlefield Chaos. Okay, so the Confederates get to place this somewhere on a unit, and that unit, that hex, not the unit, but the hex, can't move or initiate combat of any kind for the remainder of the turn. So no event shifts can be played there. They don't receive Union support. They don't provide support. They can conduct defensive fire, but only with one or only half of the SPs and retreat normally. So, I think we might want to do that down, trying to see here. Do we want to do it right there, right there? We could do it right over there where Sherman's at. And then we could drop down on Sherman. I'll tell you what, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it right there. Fog of War. Up there on Sherman. Because Koch wants to go down there and pounce on him. So, that unit will not be able to do anything besides defensive fire. Alright, next chit. And we draw Hunter again, which is now going to be Porter. See what he can do. And he can activate. So he really needs to rebuild is what he needs to do. He needs to do a regroup. But I also need to move Porter. Or, well, let's he could attack Jackson. I'll tell you what, he's going to go ahead and attack. So I've got to pull him down and roll for coordination, attack coordination. So got a 6. And he's a rating of 4. I rolled a 6. That means 5. So all of his units. Okay. And of course, Hunter's done now. Okay. So first we have fire. We're not able to fire on anybody. So we're just going to have movement and then close combat. So he wants to move to there to attack this artillery. Try to knock it out. Rest of the guys are going to go after Hampton here in the woods. So, okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, just like that. This one's going to go 1, 2, 3, right there. Oh, he's disrupted. Guess he's going to just go right there for support. This one here. One, 2. Yeah, he's just going to go right there, I guess. They're all. See, he's disrupted. 3, 4, 5. He can see he can't even get up there. He can get right there. So that's where we're at. Okay, defensive fire. We've got Hampton. He's going to fire at Porter. And Porter actually has just a 1. So we've got 10. Wasn't a very good, I don't think that's a very good. Not a very good roll, but so 10 and got a 25. I think he's still going to be able to get something off the guy. Yep, still going to be a 10 and 25. Can they have 0? Can they get down to 0? I guess they would. I didn't know if they're the lowest they could go. Doesn't matter, he's got a 1. So I guess you can go all the way down to 0, just a 0 morale. So, okay, so we got a green result, 10, 25, yeah, green result. And then we rolled a 61. 61 is he's gonna be diminished. Okay. All right, then we go over here. Remember, he's got that -2. So we've got 4. This guy's in the woods. All right, so we got 4 canister. He becomes 6. He's smooth bore, so that's going to be, now he's at 8, 9. Target is wood, so that's going to shift him down 2, 1, 2 down to 5. And then he's low on ammo, so now he goes down to 3. And I rolled a 56. And he's at a 3. So he's going to be a green. 44. So he's going to force him to retreat 1. So he'll just retreat right there. Well, he could just go to there. All right, so that was good because it kept the Union from attacking. Okay, so we've got this guy is going to be the main attacker. That guy is support. So he's in the woods. Okay, this guy's actually strength point -1. So he's actually at 4. Okay. So he starts out at 4. Okay. See if he gets any. I guess in close combat. He starts at 4. So he's going to have, this guy's actually only 3, but -2. So he's at 3, that's 7. 7, well, that's 2 to 3. So that's going to drop him down to 3. Cohesion ratings is less, so that drives him down to 2. Let's see, they don't have smooth bore. He does. No, he doesn't. He's rifled. Okay, so he's at a 2 for close combat. Okay, he rolled a 65. And he's at a 3, so he's going to be green. Green. Rolled a 12. 1 and a 2. So, okay, attackers get demoralized. So they've got to roll on the break check. So, but he's going to have to retreat. But we roll on the break thing first. Okay. So he's at actually, what is he at? He's at 0. So anything's going to be, he's going to be on the broken track no matter what. 6, he's going to be broken 3. Okay. And the other guy, he's going to be broken 3. Broken 3. Broken 3. So, a little bit of learning experience there when your guys are guys are flipped over to their what is it, battle worn state, and they've got morale markers. You better regroup. Better not try to attack. Should have just maneuvered to get this one out of there, but now the other result was a 2. So apparently he's got to retreat 1 hex. Let's see if it says anything here about I guess he would still have to retreat. I don't know, maybe somebody can point that out. Even though he's the only one left, it says he has to retreat on the skedaddle, so they would drop back. All right, so that was not good. When you're battle worn, regroup. All right, we got low ammo. Union draws low ammo chit. So, the low ammo chit need to place a low ammo marker available on a Confederate artillery unit. So, who do we want to put it on? I think we're going to put it on up here. We're going to put it on Pelham. He gets the low ammo chit. So, there we go. All right. The Confederacy is running out of ammo. All right, we got Tyler. Okay, Tyler's replacement. It's going to be these guys up here. Somebody. So we got a roll. It's either going to be Sherman, Shank, or Keys. I rolled a 3. So we got a limited activation, and we're going to do that with Shank because he's not doing anything anyways, except guarding the communication, lines of communication back there. So, all right, let's put Tyler. That's really hurt him with Tyler being injured. wounded or killed. All right, we've got Confederate Rebel Yell. I think we're going to save that toward the end. So, don't want to use it just yet. Next. Oh, we got Johnston. So, Johnston is going to be down here. We got B, Bartow, and Jackson. So, Bartow, we got to roll first. I think I'm gonna do a regroup with Bartow. I got a 3, so okay. So let's do. I've got those 2 units there. So if we do a, let's see, a rally. Okay, we're going to do a regroup order. So they can't move or conduct any combat. All right, so okay, so we can either do the rally, let's see, recovery or rebuild in a single step, not both. So if you want to do a rebuild, okay, but he's got to be supported. Neither one. That guy at the top's not supported. See, so I may have to just move. I may have to do a maneuver so that I can get the 2 Bartow units together. I think that they have to be supported by their own they've got to be supported, I think, by their own. I think I need some new glasses. I have a hard time seeing. Well, I have these no light bifocals, but my vision's changed a little bit. So when I'm trying to flip through this rule book to find the support, I had a hard time finding. I guess I had difficulty finding it last time about support. Talks about supporting fire, but I want to know about just support for cohesion. I need to learn how to pause this and then keep going. But if I pause, then it just stops. This is a well-written rule book, and it's organized very well. It's just organized in a way that I'm not. I guess I personally just have a hard time remembering where stuff's at, where to locate it. I don't need to stop saying I used to teach, and I'm sure my students they probably, you know how you are, you count how many times your teacher says or says, you know, something they repeat over and over and over. So I'm sure my students were getting bored with counting But I looked for support in the index, and it says supporting defensive fire, but I just want to know about just regular support. I guess it would be here, maybe, let's see, under, I need to look at cohesion to find out. So I just apologize for the delay here. I cannot believe that I cannot find this. Okay, I'm just gonna move, instead of wasting time here, I'm gonna move Bartow here, up here. So we've got a maneuver, I'm just gonna do a maneuver. I've got a movement of 9, so we're just going to move up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Beauregard goes back in the cup. Enough wasting time looking for something that I'll find later on. All right, we got a firefight, and I think we're going to hold on to that one, just like we hold on to the superior artillery. All right, now we got a firefight with the Confederates. They got a firefight. They're gonna hold on to that. All right, we got Tyler again. His troops are up there, but we'll roll to see if anybody gets to activate. I rolled a 4, so we got a limited activation again. Jeez. I guess I'm gonna do Sherman. I can't fire with anybody, so I'll just flip Sherman over. And Tyler goes back in the cup, replacement. I wonder if Sherman would have replaced him. Whoever it is, they have him at a low rating. Johnson might have been an improvement if it had been Sherman, but I guess Sherman was low on the totem pole. Thing is, they didn't always place the best candidate in charge. All right, so I rolled a 1, so that means we can have Johnston. We got B and we got Jackson. I think I want to activate Jackson. And so let's see here. Jackson is a 5. We're going to attack. I rolled a 5. That means he's going to be able to activate all 5 of his regiments. So for sure, oh, we're going to fire first. So let's do that first. All right, we're going to start here with this one. 2nd Virginia. He's going to fire at the 1st Rhode Island. If he can reach him. He's got an RS. Yeah, so it would be long. So it's going to be half. That would be 4.5. So it just becomes 4. Oh, we got a 61. 61 at 4. He's a 2. That's going to be green. Green. Rolled a 51. So he's already flipped. So he has to roll for break check. And he rolled a 1. So he's going to be shaken. He gets the shaken marker. Okay. Next, we've got the 33rd Virginians. And they are going to fire on Franklin. 1st Minnesotans. Right there. 2 hexes. He's got rifled. So that's going to be long. He's at 7, so that's going to be 3. He's at 3. He rolls a 26. That's not going to do anything. And then here, I think smoothbore, they don't have, they're going to be beside. So, yeah. All right, so that's all of the fire. Now we go straight to the movement and combat. So I want to move this guy to here. And let's see here. What do we have? I want to get the advantage with that. I'm going to get the advantage with the smoothbore. Do I want to just go all out there or not? Oops. Okay. So yeah, we're going to go here. We're going to go there. So he goes up that steep slope. That's going to be steep slope plus 2. Okay, he can do that. Kind of open that up for Stewart to come charging in there. And I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and go all in. I'm going to have this one go here. This one's going here. We're going all in. Okay. All right, so here, this guy, defensive fire, is 3. So his fire is 3. Rolled at 21, not effective. This guy's at 11. Ooh, 55. 55, he's a 3, so it's going to be yellow on the fire. 55 again. He gets flipped. Takes a morale marker. What happens? You go all in there. Across that field. Come down off your... So he gets flipped. Gets shaken. Okay. Okay, I rolled a 5. It has to retreat 2 would be panic, but there's no one with a low enough cohesion. Okay. So the first Minnesotans fire, they've got a 12. Rolled a 12. No effect. Okay, then we go over to here. We've got first Michigan. They've got 7, and they're smoothbore, but doesn't matter. It's only on combat, not on fire. So 7, 42, 42. Okay, it's going to be green. Routine. 21 is nothing. And then we have the 38 New Yorkers. Right there. So that's, he's firing up a steep slope. Is that going to affect anything? No. So that's 10. 10 and 36. And he's at a 4. It's going to be green. 36. Okay, he's going to cause him to retreat 2 and take a morale hit. So we're going to move this way. I think. Well, yeah, I'll go there. Okay, so now we have the close combat. All right, so he's at 3, so we got a 3 to 1. We're at 9. 9, and then a 3 to 1 is going to be move 3, so he's at 14 and 16. His cohesion is higher, so now he's at 17, 19. Okay, he's got infantry mixed, well, rifle and smoothbore, so that's going to increase. No, it doesn't say, yeah. Well, it says S or mixed, it doesn't say RS, so I guess he doesn't get that bonus. Okay, so we're at 17, 19, we're at. Oh, we rolled a 16. It's still going to be a green result. Okay, we got a 52. Okay, so he's flipped, which he's already flipped. Takes a morale hit. What's it do? See, wait a minute. No. I rolled a 52. Oh, yeah. I was on, what did I say? It was green. Yeah, green. 52. He doesn't take a morale hit. He's just going to retreat. So we steal it. But oh, I know what he's got to take a break check. That's what that is, because he's has to take another disruption. So yeah, 52. All right, so he's at a 1, and it's 2 over. So he goes to broken 2. Broken 2. So Jackson could move in, but I think he's going to stay. Okay, so now we go to this one here. All right, we're starting out at 7. Okay, outnumbered, so it goes down to 5. And then we have even CRs. He does have, no, he's rifled. The other side has smooth bore. That goes down again, so we're at 4. Ooh, a 15. That's 4. That's going to be a close fight. Ooh, I rolled a 65. Okay, so that's going to flip him. So the first Minnesotans are going to be battle worn. They're going to get a morale marker and retreat 2 hexes. So go to there. And I don't know, I don't think we want to go in there. No, I don't think so. All right, down here. He's unsupported now. So it's going to be straight up, I think. Okay, so we got 8 to 7. That's even. So So we're just going to be at 8. Let's see, well, he's got smooth bore. They both got smooth bore. So that would be even. They're pretty even all the way around. Okay, so just at 8. All right, a 36. He's a 2. It's going to be just a green. Okay, so 54. A D. We might have a retreat here. Okay, so he's got to be flipped. Okay, 54. RA2, and we got a panic 1. So he's got a retreat 2, 1, 2. Panic would be this guy. Okay, so we've got a shaken marker placed on Wilcox, and he's going to retreat 3 hexes. Wilcox, 11 New Yorkers. So 1, 2, 3. Oops. So he retreats. Well, he's, what was he here? 1, 2, 3. That way they stay connected there. All right, that's all of Jackson. So that crossroads right there stays in control of the Union. Jackson didn't want to push across. He wanted to hold where he was at. Nope. So I got to put him back in there. I had to put Johnston back in, and I'll draw him again. I don't know why I just keep doing that. So let's roll. I got a 6, so that means we've got a limited activation. So B, he's the only one Johnston's got left. Johnston. So we're going to have this one here is going to fire at the 2nd New Hampshire's. He can do that because he's on a higher elevation than this. So that's going to be 2 hexes, so he's going to be at a 5. Rolled a 33 at a 5. So he's got a 2. So yeah, we're going to be on the green. 21 is nothing. So flip B over. Okay, talking about B. B gets he gets injured during the battle and of course dies. I think he gets part of his side. I think he gets hit in the side by a cannonball, maybe. I think. Okay, but there's a little bit of a controversy over the Stonewall remark that B made. So B has been in the fight, and his men have taken it hard. So has Evans, and so B is trying to I guess get reorganized. His men have fallen back. Jackson is on Henry Hill, and he's got his men laying down. So it makes you wonder if Jackson had maybe learned that tactic from Wellington. Wellington, during the Napoleonic Wars in the peninsula, a lot of times he had, especially at Talavera, he had his men lay down so that the cannon fire would pass over their heads, and also regular fire, and he always used to like to use a reverse slope. And Jackson did the same thing with Henry Hill. On Henry Hill, they were contesting the Henry Hill, but he had his men laying down, And then he also had like his artillery jet, this Rockbridge artillery. Excuse me. They would push the guns up the hill to fire, and then they would let them roll down after they because of the when they fired, then they would roll back down the hill. And he did that, just kept doing that. But his men were laying down to avoid enemy fire. And B rides up to Jackson, who is, of course, wearing his blue uniform, his U.S. Army uniform. And he begins to talk to Jackson, and B is telling that his brigade is pretty much shot. You know, they're disorganized, and you know, there's danger of the enemy pressing forward. And Jackson tells him, give him the bayonet. And you know, some say, well, B took it as like a command, an order, even though I think B had seniority based on his entrance. I guess it may be West Point, however that went. But accordingly, B just took it as a command and went down and started organizing his troops. You know, he went down, and this is, I guess, I think on the would be southeast of Henry Hill, around that area. And his regiments were down there disorganized, trying to recruit. And he went down there and he asked, well, who do y'all belong to? You know, what regiment, what brigade are you with? And colonel or officer there shouted out, well, don't you recognize your own troops? I think it was the guys from Alabama, the 4th Alabamans, that made that remark. But and B made a regard to Jackson's men being like a stone wall. Now, later it was taken that he meant that, you know, they were standing firm like a stone wall. It has been looked at also that possibly B was saying that Jackson's men and Jackson himself were like a stone wall, and the fact that they weren't moving and hadn't been involved in the fight, you know. And what exactly he meant, you know, will never be known because, of course, he died. But several reports were made from individuals that were there that he did mention the stone wall. You know, he said that the Virginians are like a stone wall. And it was reported to some newspaper correspondents, and of course they put in the paper and everything. But that's where Stonewall gets his name. So whether or not B was criticizing Jackson or if he was praising Jackson and the Virginians, it was taken as praise and became myth, legend, so forth. Part of Jackson's legend, part of his myth, and also his brigade, the 33rd Virginians. So that's just something that's discussed in the William C. Davis Battle of Bull Run book. He brings that out, talks about that. So personally, I think he wasn't really, I don't think he was criticizing. He could have been upset that here, they belong to the same division, to Johnson's Shenandoah Valley Army. And here he's been in the fight, and Bartow has been in the fight, but Jackson's just now coming up. But, I would think that B would realize that, hey, Jackson was, in another part of the, he was over on the right flank, close to Blackburn's Ford. So, and also like over by Lewis Ford, where Cox was at. And then he was then instructed to move to the left, to get on Evans' left. And so, get over to Henry Hill. So, he was on the move. So I don't think he was I don't think B was criticizing. I just think that's somebody that's maybe looking at trying to say, well, B was not really praising Jackson's brigade, but criticizing him because they were like standing like a stone wall. They weren't they weren't moving forward. But there it is. So a lot of interesting things you can discover when you get into reading these books, instead of just relying on what you might come across on the internet, Wikipedia or so forth. So, okay, so Jackson's done. Johnson, I believe he's done now, because B's activated. Yeah, Bartow is already activated. He moved to get closer together. So Johnson's division's finished. Okay, this looks like it's going to be another 2-hour video. I need to do, I guess, more plain, less talking. Beauregard. So we've got Beauregard. He's got his men spread out all over the place. He's a 4. I rolled a 4. So I think I want to take a look at the charging, because I'd like to use, he's got an opportunity, but he can't charge. I know he can't charge up a hill, up a slope. Can't charge. He's got to be clear. So 10, 10. 10, 10. Okay, cavalry charges. Let's take a look at this. We only got one unit. Okay, mounted cavalry can make a special charge move, which grants them the benefit in close combat. To charge, a cavalry unit must meet these conditions. It's not shaken, disrupted. It must be in clear terrain at the start. Okay. Stewart is. There he is. He's not. He's right here. Okay. All right. It may not enter a hex so as to create an overstacked at any situation time. It must end its charge move adjacent to enemy unit. The targeted enemy hex must contain only infantry or artillery. Clear hexes. The charge move may not cross a slope or steep slope hex side, nor can the targeted enemy unit be located through such hex side. So, conditions are met. The close combat must then be declared during the close combat step. The charging cavalry, receive a bonus of 2 column shifts to the right. So, okay, so really he's got yeah, he could attack Franklin. That would be, let's see, Franklin. Basically, it's going to take out the outnumbering. He'd rather hit somebody. I'd rather have him hit somebody else, but that's the only target he would have. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go up here with Cock. I want to use him. I think I'll possibly think about Stewart later. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I've got Cock. Let's roll to see what kind of attack coordination he can get. He's got a 3. I rolled a 2. So he can only attack with two regiments. So, oops. All right. So he's going to go with there with that guy, and there with that guy. So that's it. Of course, neither one was able to fire. And with that, when you do that, I think that's the only units that you can do that with. Okay. So yeah, the other regiments or units in the brigade can't do anything. So, and this guy, he can do defensive fire, that's it, but it's at half strength. So he's going to fire at this one. So the 13th New Yorkers are going to fire at the 8th Virginians. And he's at half strength, so that's going to be a 5. 16, that's going to be nothing. He didn't get anything there. Okay. All right, so the lead unit is going to be the 8th Virginia. This is the target. So all right, so we've got 10. That's where we're starting at. And we've got 2 to 1, so we're going to increase by 2. We're up to 14 to 16. We've got a better cohesion, so now we're at 17, 19. He doesn't get the increase for mixed or smoothbore. And we don't get flanking attack. So we're at 17, 19 in close combat. We got a 35. And he's a 2. So he's going to be on the tough 55. Okay. So he's going to be flipped. Battle worn now. 55. So he's battle worn. Get rid of this. And 5, he's going to take 2 morale hits. So he's going to be disrupted. He's going to have to retreat 2 hexes. And it could cause a panic, but there's nobody with a low enough cohesion to panic. So he's going to drop back to, oh, no, we can't go over that. You can't go that way. Guess he's going to go right there. And he had to retreat 2 hexes. So that means that these guys could advance. but I don't want them to. I'm going to stay right there. They're going to stay. Okay. So, cock is done. How come a Henselman never gets pulled? He just... Okay, we got Command Confusion. Now we got Firefight and Rebel Yell. That can be played here somewhere. I'm going to, the Union player can actually fire somewhere. They're going to use their superior artillery. Okay. To conduct an artillery step. So down here, they're going to fire Reynolds. It's going to fire on the 33rd Virginians. Right there. So range is 1, 2, 3. So it's just a 6. 24. Might have been useless. Yeah, he's got a 4, becomes a 3. So, yeah, wasted. Okay. And then we've got and let's see here. We're going to do Firefight right here. The Confederates are going to use their Firefight chit. Okay. Firefight chit to attack the 38th. So the 27th Virginia is firing on the 38th. And they just have an 8. 32 at 8. Okay, he's actually got a 2. Okay, so it's routine. 61. So he gets depleted. But now he gets to fire back at a 5. 16 is no effect. Okay. let's see what we got over there. Command Confusion, Firefight, Rebel Yell. Do they have anywhere they want to do Firefight at? Yeah, why not? They're going to do Firefight. I think Franklin is going to do Firefight. Yeah. The 5th Massachusetts right here is going to fire at the 33rd. So that's a range of 2. He becomes a half, so he's at 5.5, becomes 5. Ooh, 62. 62 at 5. Okay, he's at a 3. He's going to be routine. A 13. 1 and a 3 forces him to retreat 1 hex. So, doesn't get to return fire. Okay, so we got Rebel Yell and Command Confusion left over there for them. And then we still got chits here to draw. And we draw Beauregard. All right, so we've got Stewart. Ooh, yeah. Stewart is gonna charge. I gotta roll first. You may not be able to. I may have to choose someone else. Okay, Beauregard. I rolled a 2, so okay. So we're gonna have the charge that I was looking for down here. Stewart is gonna charge Wilcox. So, he's gotta be in a clear hex. You can't overstack moving through any hex. And the enemy's gotta be in a clear hex, which he is. He's gotta stay in clear hexes. He can't go up slope. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there. Now he gets to do his defensive fire. So defensive fire, he's a 5. Targets cavalry, but he gets to go up 2, so he's at an 8, 9. I rolled a 24. Stewart, he's beside another infantry unit, so I think he gets to keep his, I think he gets support. I gotta find I gotta find that about the support. Cavalry. So they can't, see, they can't stack with. They can't stack with anybody. Okay, chit draw phase is not going to be there. Okay, brigade orders. I don't think it's going to be there. Fire combat. On a side overhead fire, weapon ranges. Opportunity fire, supportive fire, multi-fire units, target eligibility, fire combat procedure, column shifts, resolving fire combat, cohesion test determination. Stack movement, movement allowance, okay. Where is road stacking, engagement, opportunity fire, cavalry withdrawal, cavalry mounting, dismounting, okay, charging, reinforcement arrivals. Where is the support? Talks about support. I have no idea. I cannot find it. I've got to be overlooking it. There it is, unit support. Da-da, 12.4. Okay, units that have friendly units from the same brigade in the midst of the vicinity can arrive around physicals. Okay, so it's got to be the same. Okay, infantry and cavalry. An infantry or cavalry unit is supported if there's at least one non-shaken, non-disrupted unit from the same brigade stacked with it or in an adjacent hex. Note that the unit providing support can be battle-worn. Okay, so, okay, that's so. Stuart doesn't have support because he doesn't have it can't be the infantry. Okay, so that means I rolled a 24 on 5. Okay. Is that no? Moved over 2. So he's now at a 2. So that would be routine. And I rolled a 52. So he's depleted. All right. So, okay, now we have the combat. Okay, so he's at 3 now. Okay. Size, he's it's 1 to 2. That's going to be 2, so he's down to 1. Okay, he's now down to C because no, they're going to be even, so down to 1. Okay, cavalry charge, he gets 2, so it goes back to 3. So that's where we're at. We're at a 3. 32. Okay, it's just going to be the close fight. 62. Okay, so it's going to be depleted. He's already depleted. 2 is the attacker takes a morale hit. And the attacker's got to retreat a hex. So Stuart is going to have to retreat to there. Wilcox has got to roll for his break check. Break test. I got a 5, so that's plus 3. So he's going to the broken 3 track. Broken 3 box. All right. Beauregard goes back in the stack. All right. Okay, so Hanselman comes in now. So, where's he been? I rolled a 1. Okay. All right, so he's got Howard, Franklin, and Wilcox. So I want to get Howard up there for sure. So I'm gonna move this firefight. It's not in there no more. So I want to move Howard, maneuver, because I need to get him up here. He wants to attack. He wants to really turn the Confederate left. So, okay, move this here. So we're looking to bring those guys up, and I wouldn't be able. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, okay, if we want to do a maneuver, this is going to give us 9. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he goes to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not exactly what Jackson wanted to see. All right, so Howard gets flipped over. Hanselman comes up again. Roll to 2. Okay, so we've got Franklin and Wilcox. I tell you what, I need to do okay, if I do a defend, I can still fire and then move 3. So, and I can recover. But I think to recover, I can't fire. Let's see. So this will be, I think, my first defend order. I'm just attacking, maneuvering. Okay. I guess they can still do the rally. Let's look at 13-2. Okay. Okay, so defend order, I can remove 1 morale hit. Okay. All right, so we're going to do Franklin. Franklin is just going to defend. I don't have to roll for coordination. All right, so Franklin, first thing we're going to do is we're going to fire this, the 5th Massachusetts is going to fire on the 2nd Virginians. No, I tell you what, he's going to fire on Stewart right there. because he gets a bonus for firing on Stewart because he's cavalry. So range 2 makes it long, so half. So that's going to be 5.5. So we're at 5. And firing a cavalry is going to increase me to 2, so I'm at 8, 9. 23. And Stewart. Yep. I got him at routine. If we roll, we get a 44. So we're going to force him to retreat again. So he goes to there. Okay. Could have fired with this one. Would probably been very effective, but not if he's always disrupted, so he's only 3. Okay, so they can then move 3. Okay, so we could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this guy 1, 2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Woods is what? Cost 2. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able. Yeah, 2, 3. Could have just gone to the woods. I think he will. He'll just go to the woods there. And then these guys can each remove a morale hit. So now he's at. This guy gets rid of his. All right. So that's defend. All right. So he goes back in the draw cup, and Franklin is done. Next. Oh, Hanselman again. I rolled a 5, so we got a limited activation, which is a Wilcox. Wilcox can't fire on anybody, so he's done. He doesn't get to do anything else. So we've got Keys and Beauregard is all we got left, except for Rebel Yell and Command Confusion. So we got Tyler's replacement. Rolled a 5. So all he can do is Keys can't do anything. He can't. There's nobody he can fire on up there. I can show it to you, but nobody's within range up there. This guy here's smooth bore. Here's a rifle. I mean smooth bore rifle. I got to get the rifles out front. That's something you got to pay attention to when you're deploying your troops. Is get your rifled regiments out front. Okay, so Beauregard's all we got left here. And what do we got? Okay, we got Bonham, hadn't come in yet. Oh, I got a 6. So somebody is gonna be Evans. I want to do a regroup with him. So I guess, who else we got? Evans, Hampton, Stewart's already gone. I guess I'm gonna do, well, Hampton can fire. He can fire on this guy. So I'll do a limited activation with Hampton. Right there. So Hampton has rifles, and this guy's at a higher level than this, so he can see over this to get to him. So he's got a 5. 51 with 5. Yeah, he's gonna be a 3. That's gonna be a routine. Ooh, a 65. Ooch. He's already depleted, so he's got to roll. Let's see, yeah. 65. He's got to retreat 2, but he's got to roll for break test. Oh, we got a 6. All right, so he's going to the break 3, broken 3 box. Here's the break test. Okay, he has a 4, but no support, so he's a 3. I rolled a 6. That's plus 3, so broken 3. So, all right. Beauregard, besides, Command Confusion, he's waiting for possibly the next one. So Beauregard rolls for either Evans or Bonham. So he's going to go with Bonham, but the Union are going to play this Command Confusion. Okay. So with that, okay, we roll to see what happens. Got a 6. The activated brigade must be assigned a different order than originally announced, as determined by the USA player. So I had a maneuver order. So he's got to get a different order. So the only order that allows him to move is going to be defend. Well, I could do an attack, but yeah, that gives him more movement. So I guess he's given an attack order. He just gets to move less. So they're going to come in with just 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There they are. Okay, so Bonham gets flipped over. And Evans is all we got left. I rolled a 2. So Evans can, we're gonna try to regroup, rebuild. Okay, to attempt to rebuild, the point player rolls 1 die and compares the die roll to the unit's broken side. Battle worn side. So, okay. Now, first off, I think, now I'm gonna have to remove that first. Okay. So we do that with him. Over here on this broken track, I'm going to roll to see if he can come back in. Okay, and he's considered to have support, so I got to roll a 3 or less. I rolled a 1. So he is going to be rebuilt to the map. So okay, so he comes in right here. He's rebuilt, and he joins the other Evans regiment. I guess it's really a half regiment. So right there. So now they can provide each other support. And the last thing we have is going to be the Rebel Yell. So I've got to decide where I want to do the Rebel Yell. Where, oh where do we want to do it? I think I'm going to do the Rebel Yell right here with B's 2nd Mississippians against the 2nd New Hampshires. I think that's where I'm going to do it. Or I could do the Jackson. I can move 1 hex. I want to keep. Okay, so we're going to have Rebel Yell. All right, so he's charging. Really want to do it where somebody doesn't have, they're not going to be able to fire very strongly on you. Take out that artillery unit. And of course, then you're going to be isolated, and you're going to give up that hex. But I could take out that artillery unit right there. You know what? That's what he's going to do. All right. So he moves to there. We've got that artillery unit. A 2 becomes a 3, and it's smoothbore, so then it becomes 4. And then we got Burnside. He can add supporting fire up to half, so that's 4. So he's up to the 8, 9. So that's what we're gonna. Okay, 43. He's gonna be at 2, so it's regular routine. Ooh, 61. Okay, so he's depleted. Okay, but he still gets to attack. So he's gonna be at 5. Okay, he's 2 to 1. That increases him to 8 to 9. Enemy has a greater cohesion, so he's down to 6, 7. The enemy has smoothbore, so that's going to be down to 5. Defender is 50%. SPs or artillery, that increases 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be at the, oops. We're going to be at the, just so we know who's here is who's here. Okay. So 12, 13 is where we're going to be. But that's Rebel Yell. So I get 2 more. So I'm at 17, 19, right? Yeah, 17, 19. I rolled an 11. Can you believe that? All right, so that's going to be a close fight. Oh, a 1 and a 6. A 1 attacker dis. Okay, he's probably going to the broken track. And then I rolled a 6. Okay, so we got a morale hit and a retreat of 2. there. All right, we got a roll for him. Oh, he's going to the broken track. Broken 3 track. All right, and Beauregard now is, oh, he's done. Okay. All right, so that's the end of the turn. Don't have any chits left. So the next thing we got to do is we got to count up victory points. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna move, see if I can move over here. That way I can give a full shot. Of the victory points. Okay. All right. So. All right. Victory points. Okay. 2 points for Henry House and Robinson House. Here's Henry House, here's Robinson House, they're great. So that's 4 points. So the Confederates were at 4, they're now at 8. Okay. Next. Okay, Confederate player receives 1 point for the Stone Bridge, which they don't control, and the Western Exit Hex, which is right here. Can you see that? No, you can't. You gotta turn this so we can more. There we go. All right, this hex here, which I don't have a block there because my camera mount keeps hitting it. Okay, so they get a point for that. So now they're at 9. Okay. Union receives 1 point for Lewis Ford, which they don't control yet, and 2927 Crossroads, which is right here, which they don't control. Okay. The Confederate player receives Crossroads of Sudley Road and Warrenton Pike, which they don't control. Union player receives 2 hexes for the New Market they don't control. Okay, so that's where we're at. And the Confederates have a 9-point lead. Going into the 2 o'clock turn, where we have more chits coming in. We've got exhausted Union, the Union exhausted chit, Confederate exhausted chit, Confederate little ammo chit, and then Elsie's Brigade, and the 6th North Carolina Regiment of Bees. So that's what's going to be coming in at 2 o'clock. Let's swing back over here. Just taking a look here. I need to take a look here at the, okay, at the, oh shoot, knocked all this stuff over. Should have stayed over there. Let's see if we can get over there close enough from here. Okay, on this track here, we've got B's, 4th Alabamas, Porter's as the 14th New York, 27th New York, and the U.S. Infantry Battalion, all in the broken 3. Wilcox has the 38th New York. Now, all of these are going to be moving. They're going to slide. Evans, 1st Louisiana's going there to the available box. Burnside's Rhode Island going there. And then all of these guys are moving to box 2. So Porter's got 3 of his regiments out. Wilcox has 1 out. Burnside's got 1. Evans still has 1. So the Union took the brunt of the conflict of that 30 minutes. So, okay, on the east end of the map there's not much going on because Tyler's replacement hasn't been able to activate fully anybody. So we got Keys here still trying to get across the ford. They're going to gain the ford once they get some movement. Sherman, they could take the ford on this side. Of course, you got Shank up there, who's responsible for just guarding the stone bridge. They didn't even get involved in the fight, except for maybe on the retreat, maybe. Here in the center, Evans is getting rebuilt. He's got Squire's artillery there. Pelham's over here, but he's low ammo. Cock has split his brigade up. So this one here is unsupported, but he's in the woods. Porter, like I said, Porter is really hurting. All of his regiments are battle worn. B lost the 4th Alabamans in that assault that they did. I might as well turn all these artillery units. To get ready for the next turn. Back. Let's see what else we got. Ricketts, Reynolds. So the Confederates are pretty much holding the line there in the center. Jackson is still holding the flank. But Howard has now joined the fight. He's moved up. Wilcox and Franklin need to bend. They need to regroup. So that's where we're at. And gameplay. Need to stop that. Gameplay is fluid. I like the different charts for determining results, the cohesion tests, and so forth. I like that. I like the close combat. It's a little different. You don't have a CRT. You've got these cohesion test tables. There's not a lot of modifiers, but the modifiers that are here, I agree with. I can't think of any modifiers modifiers that I would add to this that I can think of. I just wonder about McDowell. You know, he was involved. He showed up at the front, came over to check to see what was going on. Yeah.
You just watching the movie with me?
What?
Are you interested in watching the movie?
I want to open the door. Is it not? Is it locked?
Huh?
What?
So I got this documentary I just downloaded. Secrets of Blackmore. It's about the origins of D&D.
Oh. Nah, I'm okay. I think I've seen that.
Fairly recent.
Yeah.
You can pay for it to watch it right now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Maybe I just saw like a clip or something of it. So
this is going to be more about Artisan's group, which played a lot of war games, naval games, and then started doing the Brownstein campaign and diplomacy, and it turned into role playing.
Oh. Huh. No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Okay.
Interesting. I bet it's interesting, though. She's all right. You can leave her. All right. So, that was my brother talking about the documentary he was I downloaded concerning origins of D&D and I guess some board game and stuff like that. Okay, forgot what I was talking about here. Oh, I talked about gameplay, charts. McDowell. I was talking about McDowell. You know, he shows up and he's involved. I mean, I don't kind of feel like he should be a chit. Should have you know, a CIC, Commander-in-Chief chit that possibly, I guess he directed some of the troops, told them what to do. You know, specifically came down and said, "Hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that." So, but he's nowhere to be seen. I mean, possibly you could throw him in and say, well, you know, you have 2 uses, 3 uses, just like the regulars forward. That might be, maybe that's where, you know, maybe that's where you could possibly say that's where he's involved or something. But it's the regulars forward. I don't know if he really instructed that group specifically. I'm not sure about that. But I don't know. I haven't been able to find any information regarding the mining of the stone bridge idea that's in the rules, special rules. The Union did not attempt to cross the stone bridge. One reason is it was narrow, and they weren't for sure what was on the other side. How strong they thought Evans. His brigade or the forces on the other side of the bridge of the Bull Run were stronger. They weren't for sure what was there. They had already tried to cross Bull Run down at Blackburn's Ford. I think I have a picture of yeah. So this shows a picture of it says Blackburn's Ford on Bull Run, where Tyler's reconnaissance backfired. So then here we have, this is the Sudley Church and Crossing where McDowell's turning movement was, the Ford Bull Run. That's where Hanselman and Hunter's group. And here's the stone bridge right there, across Bull Run. So this is, it says where Tyler was supposed to cross. And that's a picture of Bull Run taken on the morning of the July the 21st. So, oh, I was talking about Blackburn's Ford. Tyler division had already tried to cross down there, and Longstreet opposed them, and they failed there. So I think McDowell, when he was thinking about, you know, the Stone Bridge, Warrington Pike, that he would do a diversion action there, which they did do some diversion, and then he sent Hunter and Heintzelman around to Sudley's Ford. And that was the whole plan, to march around and surprise the Confederate left. However, the Confederates had this tower that they could observe what was going on to the northwest and to the north. And so they spotted the Union forces as, I guess maybe they were crossing Sudley's Ford or at the ford. And they used this wigwag flag signaling that was first used. They used that during this battle, and that's how Evans knew that his left had been turned. And so he pulled pretty much all of his forces off. He left a remnant, some companies behind, and began to move to challenge the Union forces that were crossing Sudley's Ford. And I guess we've lost some power here, down here. So I'm gonna have to go kick the electricity back on. So, okay, so anyways, I need to end this video. We're almost at 3 hours now. Me just yak. Okay, we've got some just mention of our sponsors, Crossman. You can reach them at crossman.com, and then we have Mertu, fine jewelry for men and women, mertu.com. Again, this is Lee with 82 Gaming 12, and this is The Day Was Ours, something that was spoken by McDowell, probably around 10:30, 10 o'clock or so, I think. And then you had the lull, and then later it's Johnston that says the day is ours. So you got both sides saying the day is ours. The Confederates are the ones that hold the field, and the Union forces are the ones that retreat. So